Hi, my name is Daniel. Today I'm going to present my batch 3 history coming of life part 1. One day it rained a lot on this earth. As the water passed through the air, it got mixed with different gases. All this mixed air with gas washed away the rocks, making the seas. The seas became fuller and fuller, and the land was being washed away. It looked like the order that was created was beginning to break up. Who was causing this? Who was the culprit? The sun looked at the water, and the water said, "Who? Me? What have I done? Remember Remember how I am made in such a way that if I become hot, I disappear, and if I become cold, I fall down, and being a liquid, I go through all the cracks. What can I do? I don't have any choice, and my sister Air stirs me up and carries me around, dropping me on the rocks. It's her fault that I have to move. Talk to her." Air said. "Me? I'm like that. I was given the job of covering the earth with layers of blankets so she won't be cold. She has a cold head and cold feet, and that is why I had to be always on the run to warm her up. And what does the water do? She jumps on my back and takes a ride. That's fine when it's flat, but when there are mountains, it's different. I have to climb up and drop her. She is so heavy, I can't play her all the time. I have important work to do. It's the fault of those rocks. Why does the earth have to have such wrinkly skin? Rocks have no consideration at all. They don't move to let me pass. Sometimes they get so hot that when I go near them, I have to climb up to avoid burning. When they are freezing, I cringe." The rock said with one voice. "Why do you blame us? We are not doing anything but sit around. Do you think we want to get hot? We can't help it when the sun shines on us. We are made this way. If you ask us, son, it's your fault. You are the culprit." All of them were right because they were just functioning as to how they were made. Yet the order was being threatened and something had to be done. And so it went on. One day a tiny drop of jelly appeared, and in this tiny little drop of jelly, God said, "I give something that no one else has. I give you sensitivity. In order to exist, you must eat and grow. But all of you will not eat the same thing. You will also have power to create others like yourselves, and that is your specialty." So life came in the form of tiny little blobs of jelly. Each of these had laws to follow: eat, grow, and create others like themselves. They were like tiny little machines, just like a tiny little car that grew and then split up. These tiny little drops of jelly on began the work of cleaning up the ocean as they fed up with the salt of the water. They built their own bodies. Some of them found the water itchy, so they built shells to protect themselves. When they did, these tiny shells dropped to the bottom of the ocean, and the salt remained trapped in the shells. As time passed and all these creatures died, layer upon layer, these new kinds of mud piled up at the bottom of the ocean like pages of a book, the book of the earth. Some of these pages have remained for us to read later so we can tell what happened a very long time ago, before anyone was born. These tiny little creatures were made up with just one cell, which did all of these works: breathing, eating, and moving. The creatures move about from one place to the other, drifting about and cleaning the water. But then as time went on, some of them said, "Why not join together? Because then we can be more efficient. We can do things better." Along came the creatures slightly bigger, made out of several cells. They too went on feeding on the waters of the ocean, growing and creating others like themselves. This went on for a very long time until some of them thought that instead of one cell doing all the jobs, why not give the other cell some other jobs? So some cells were lined up and told, "You do the breathing for us." Other cells were lined up and told, "You do the moving along for us." And some cells lined up and were told, "You do the eating for us." Thank you for listening. This is the end of Batch 3 Coming of Life, Part